I do not own the copyright to this music. Now stop being a jerk and just let people hear music. Let's go! I do own the copyright to this stuff. No, wait, no, I'm just kidding. Oh man, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. Don't care. R8RBEAR! Woo! It's that time again for the best damn opening, woo, in Facebook and YouTube live history. R8RBEAR! Oh, you know it's true, because it came out of my face, like I told a Charger fan today. You can't even look as good in baby blue as we do. Oh, yeah, you know that hurt. I know, right? It was a brutal takedown. No mercy. Don't feel bad about it. Woo! Often imitated, never duplicated. Nah, that bull with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. Whoa! What? Whoa! The R8RBEAR! You just have to trust me. There's a beautiful bicep under there. R8RBEAR! Sup, fam? Welcome to the show. R8RBEAR Live. Your host, guess who? Son of a... Let's try that again. Son of a... I mean... The R8RBEAR! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I have absolutely no energy for you tonight. I shouldn't lie to you like that. Tradish! I probably don't even have to look. It's probably Mark Vargas. I'm just gonna guess it's Mark Vargas. It's always Mark Vargas because he's our heavyweight champion of the world. No! Tonight's gold medalist, YouTube, John the Lion Leon. Always dropping L's, but never taking losses. John the Lion Leon. John, look, if you stop screwing around, okay, you're a natural talent. You know that, okay? You're just always hovering around the silver and the bronze. When are you going to get into shape and just come give Mark Vargas the fight he deserves? Stop screwing around, man. You could have been a champion long ago. Second place, our silver medal goes to the heavyweight champion of the world, Mark Vargas. No. That doesn't mean second place. It means he has 2 belts. I look like I wasn't talking trash, Mark. I wasn't. Third. Oh, wait. I can't shout third without my earpiece in, apparently. Okay, there we go. Third place, my bronze medal goes to Ramiro! Woo! Cash flow! Wait. I mean to be able to fold that. Castro! Hi, Mrs. Castro. I should have added her to the list long ago. You know what I mean? I've been calling out lies for a long time. I should have added her to the list long ago. So, Ramiro, for that, I apologize, brother. Much love. All right, now my Facebook family. No introduction is needed. The dominance is always there. Carlos! Say it again, girl. Boy, kids. You know, Champ, you've made a fan. I could hear Mama Bear going, boy, kids, from the kitchen. And that would-be rivalry, not rivalry, would-be rivalry, LP. Lucky Pace! That sultry sounding son of a gun. And he really does. He's got that Barry Manilow, like Luther Vandross kind of tone to his voice when he talks to you. I can do it in little stretches, but it's just how he sounds. You know what I mean? You got it like that. Third place, my bronze medal goes to the G-Man himself, Jim Garrison. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR Bear. Appreciate you as always. And you know, Jim, you've been kind of hovering and sneaking around the gold medal round yourself. It's time to tighten up your boots and get your act together, young man. I want to see a consistent bronze, flirting with the silver every once in a while, get you into shape, and then you can go for the big leagues with the big boys. Whatever that means. Coretta True. Hello. One of my benefactors of the show. Hi, love. Welcome to the show. And my first supporter ever, Anna Diaz Rincon. Anna, mwah. I'm throwing that all the way from where I am to all the way where you are so you can catch it and kind of put it there on the cheek. Mr. Rincon, don't get mad. I'm talking to your husband now. We're just like that, you know. Oh, the crazy squirrels in the house. What's up, little Nan Hoff? Your little girl's adorable. Really, she's a beauty. Ah, handsome Joe Holman's in the house. Hey there, Bear. Brother Bear. I love how he does that, too. Hey there, Bro Bear. What's up? No, stop that. Hey there, Bro Bear. Touch late again. I got some fellows over watching the game. Nice. And Michael Purifoy. It's my guy right there. And my wife's guy. She loves her some Michael Purifoy. Max Crosby was named Las Vegas Raiders winner for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, and it was presented by Nationwide. That's pretty cool. Pete 24, I appreciate that. Coretta Trujillo reminds me to remind all of you that stars that are contributed to the show go directly to charities that we work with all over the world. And they help us to maintain the show with apps and cameras and microphones and so on and so forth. So, appreciate that. Come on, Pumpkin. What's up?
Me to steal your phone?
Steal it? Oh, no, I just turned the volume off. Because it was, yeah. Give me all these warnings. You're not show ready. Give him the smooch. Love you. That's how we do it here.
Well, I can't really kiss your face. Your hat's in the way.
No, yeah, and you would mess up my mustache. Let's, be careful. Stop. You're not allowed to touch it. You know you're not allowed to touch it. Don't do that, okay? No, sure. You're going to confuse the audience, make them think you're allowed to touch my mustache when you know that's not true. Mama Bear! Carlos Boykin said you're his own personal cheerleader. Oh. A champion with a sense of humor. I like that. I miss you too, Ma. How you doing there? Raider 3313. I'm not going to say your name because maybe you don't want me to say your name. I don't know. Where's my cologne? I need some more Yoop. I don't smell good anymore since you don't take care of me anymore. He's asleep. So this is a booty video? Is that what you're trying to say to me, Anna? Don't get me in trouble, okay? All right. Yeah, Johnny, it's been a rough season. There's no doubt about that. All capitals. I like it. All I can say is that we have to do what we've been learning how to do for quite a while now, and that is just maintain and see what the future is going to hold for us. Because I don't think there's any doubt that they're going to blow this team up. They're going to blow this team up. I mean, now don't get me wrong, you don't hear too many people reporting that. They're saying that they should do it. They're saying that that's the way to go, and the team's so bad you should blow it up. You can't have Pete. Blah 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 blah. I can report they're going to blow it up. There's no maybes. You notice I'm not qualifying my statement. I'm letting you know that will happen. Can't give sources. You guys that have watched me for 10 years now know I can't do that. But they're going to blow it up. There's no doubt about it. And I mean blow it up big. They may hold on to some of the people on the roster, Max, Crosby, the obvious things, and some of the other rookie guys that are starting to show and prove a little bit. But outside of that, you know what I mean? Because that kid we have, Dante Thornton, he's in concussion protocol right now. But what we got to see of him and what we got to see of him in camp, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. So when I say that, I bring up someone like that, the average football fan would say, well, of course, Barry's under contract. We haven't had a chance to see what he is, blah, blah. You don't understand what I'm trying to say. There is no one on the roster, no one that is safe from what's going to happen at the end of this season. Some of you aren't going to like it. Most of you are going to love it because we're not going to recognize too much of this roster going into next season. And to be honest with you, before you guys ask the question, how do I feel about it? I think it's great. See, to me, and I've used this analogy a lot, and so I apologize, but so I'll keep it very brief. But when you're in a race car team, every year you come back and you try to make that car faster. And that doesn't mean you strip the car down to the bolts, but it does if you came in last or, second to last or fourth to last or whatever the case may be. If you're that far from winning, then you got to blow it up because whatever you're doing isn't just not it all stinks. Because everything we're doing right now stinks. It just does. I mean, and you can add Max Crosby to that. His numbers aren't as good as they normally are. That's not on him, but it's still him. You know what I mean? But we can't ask him to beat every single triple team he faces. You know what I mean? He's got to have help on the other side. But the rest of this roster is going to get cleansed, to put it nicely. Always spoiling me. But hey, don't go out of your way, love. I'm just playing with you. I would only want you to do it like if you found a couple extra bottles in your medicine cabinet way down at the bottom that you forgot about. Now, if it's that kind of thing, okay, send it. But I want you pulling favors. Tim's on diaper duty at the moment, but your favorite sassy Steeler fan is here. Peggy's in the house. Good Lord. Any chance of 2026 and 2027 season being better? Well, honestly, Corinna, that would be me rubbing a magic, what do they call it? Crystal ball. But I will say this, though. I don't think that even Tom, with having no experience as a team builder, which is what is the position he's in. I mean, let's just be straight with each other right now so that we don't all throw up when we remember who he actually is. Because he's not that far removed from the field for me to be over it yet. Coffee, often called Joe, as it's something dark and handsome. Sorry, I had to show everybody that. Okay. I just believe, hi, Jesse Parker. I just believe the team will be better just by virtue of the fact that he's going to be able to kind of let his hair down and just make decisions. And when you're allowed to do that and you've been in the NFL as long as he has, I have to believe that he knows what he doesn't know, even though I'm sure he's incredibly arrogant. I'm sure he's incredibly, I know everything. We've seen that, okay? They did like a 10-part documentary on this guy that literally no one watched outside of New England, including me. I've never seen a minute of it. I mean, I've seen snippets because they would play it on ESPN, you know what I mean? But other than that, so ridiculous. So anyway, No one said it was over the top when they did that for Michael Jordan, did they? No, because he's the best. And no matter who you were as a fan, you loved that guy. Even when he beat you, you loved that guy because he was so friggin' awesome. Tom can't say that. He's just a cheater. No, won a bunch of rings. Got to keep him. I'm getting off point. He'll find someone good in the college ranks to coach for sure. And he will make moves throughout the league for sure that will bring in talent. Now, the thing I can't answer, though, is what that talent level will be. Do you see what I'm saying? So if he brings in more guys that are like Geno Smith, where they've only got a year, if that, left on him, and he seems to have none left on him. I see no tread on Geno Smith whatsoever. If at the end of this season, if he's still in the league, I'll be surprised. Now, he may get a backup role somewhere, but he won't. I don't think he'll see the field as a starter again. Not after this. It just, even if it's not all his fault, it looks like it's all his fault. You know what I mean? Because some of those interceptions just flat out were bad throws. There's just no way around it. They were bad throws. Let Spytek cook with his own coach. And who do you think Spytek would be looking at? Well, he's definitely going to look in the college ranks, John. I don't see him looking in the pros. Now, if he does look in the pros, it'll be for a hot offensive coordinator, assistant, or offensive coordinator. That could happen. Probably won't go defensive coordinator because they just don't. That's not the rhythm of the NFL right now. They don't think that looking for a defensive coach is the way to go. Even though the Lions coach, one of the winningest teams in the last 3-4 seasons, is a defensive coach. So to me, you just get a good coach. You know what I mean? I don't care if he's an offensive leaning coach or a defensive leaning coach. I just want a great coach. You know what I mean? I just want a great coach. Because when you really think about it, what is a coach? He's a teacher. He's a teacher. It's no different than when you were in high school. You've got to see it that way. Because if you don't, you're mistaken. It's not just all, doggone it, I need you to go out there. Give me fire. Run through brimstone and bring me touchdowns. That's the movies. It's pretty good, huh? That's just the movies, though, man. They don't. No. He's got a board behind him, like any teacher, and he's doing X's and O's and saying, this is what we're running. This is why. You need to understand what it is and the cadence. Why 37, 22 on right, on three, ready, break. Well, you got to know that sometimes when we say on right, we just mean the right guy on the right side. That doesn't mean the play's going right and so on and so forth. See, you need a guy who can go on a blackboard, go on an easel, whatever the case may be, and really teach his players. Because in truth, if you go back and look at any NFL head coach that's ever won, they were all great communicators. They will, if you look at them closely, they'll remind you a lot of guys that you met when you were in college or when you were in high school, guys that were in their early 40s to early 60s. You had some older teachers, but and they could get you to listen. Think back when you were in school, when people would say, who's your favorite teacher? You would always think to the person that you like the most. And you liked them the most as an adult, you realize, I'm sure now, because they were the best at getting your attention. Think of it like a comedian. A comedian that becomes a teacher, or a teacher that's exceptionally funny, always is the student's best teacher. We need that. Okay, I'm going to answer this. Hold on. What do you think about bringing back Carr? I don't think anything of it. And the only reason I say that is because even if that was something we were considering, even if he was considering it, which I don't think he is, I don't think it would make sense because he's not going to be any better than he was. He's only going to be worse. Even if he stayed in shape, he can't be in football shape. Any of us that know anything about football know that. And for those of you who don't, I'm letting you know, you cannot be in NFL level football shape without playing NFL football after getting as fit as you can in the gym. And then you run reps. That's why you hear every single football player say, and I quote, I just got to go out there and get hit once, and then I'll be ready to go. And it's usually guys that have been laid off or they tore their Achilles, so they miss a whole season. And then the first thing out of the mouth is I just got to get back on the field and get knocked down. And then then that'll get my juices going. What he's talking about is feeling game speed and then getting himself back up to game speed. And that's how you do it. You go out there, you feel the speed, and then you match the speed if you're talented enough to do it. And that's the difference between good players and great players. Corinna True. Hello. Appreciate the love, dear. Oh, wait a minute. And Steven and Mrs. Shaw. Appreciate the love. Would you take Tonkin? Would you take Tomlin if the Steelers let him go? I would not, Bill. And without this sounding like a shot, Peggy, I've never been a Mike Tomlin guy, and I never will be. I feel like Mike Tomlin, in part, is a product of the Steelers themselves. The Steelers organization is so solid, and the people they put around him. Now, don't get me wrong. Black coach, black host, bashing a black person doesn't feel great. But I'm being honest. I just think he's Bush League. I think that his entire career has been based on the talent he's had on the field, and that he himself is a good defensive coordinator. So they would always have a solid defense, and then their offense could do this: be good, be bad, be good, be bad, because their defense would keep them in games, and they would run the ball. You know, they've been playing old school football since old school football started. And so that's always the answer. Whenever a team's struggling, whenever you're in trouble, you go back to fundamentals, old school football, build a defense, be solid, run the ball. Solid special teams, you know, when I say solid, that kind of thing. It's clear Spytek and Pete weren't on the same page during the draft because whoever was putting in the picks aren't playing other than Ginty. Vernon, correct. I mean, I know I'm the host. I should add something to that, but I can't. Because first off, I think that Pete was on board with Ginty, I think. I don't think that was an issue. You know, obviously Pete's a run the ball guy. Ginty looks like an incredible back at the day when we're looking at him coming out of the draft. Obviously, his tape, he looks amazing. And so, you know, he probably didn't have a problem there, but everything else, yeah. Including the offensive coordinator, we're finding out now. He wasn't even letting Chip Kelly run the offense. He was basically telling Chip Kelly, run this. I mean, and don't get me wrong, think back. It was like 4 or 5 shows ago. I said, is this even Chip Kelly's offense? You know, because Chip's used to running the ball with, you know, split motion, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, you know, all these weird sets. And then he'd play action out of it and throw to the tight end and, you know, and motion from right and then run left. And he does like crazy stuff. And you didn't see any of that. There was no innovation. It just looked like old school football, which should have told us right off the bat. In fact, it should have told me, to be honest with you. I even missed it. I knew there was locker turmoil, and I knew that some of the players and the coaching staffs were bumping heads, and all of that has turned out to be true. But the part about Pete Carroll and Chip and wondering why the offense wouldn't get started, it's because you were running an old offense with a new age coach that didn't want to run it. And so he play called us into the dirt. I don't think Chip Kelly knew he was going to get fired, so he didn't care. I would be willing to bet you he wanted to see the Raiders lose. And I don't mean to say that. And if anyone that likes Chip Kelly or his family's watching or anything like that, I want to be clear. I'm only even saying that because he would have felt so betrayed by the Raiders organization to bring him in, give him a contract, and then allow their head coach to say, you run what I say. I mean, come on. Does anyone really think Chip Kelly didn't say something to somebody like Mark Davis or Tom and say, hey, you know, he's not letting me run what I want to run? I could imagine a scenario where Mark Davis and Tom looked him right in the face and said, don't worry, Grandpa ain't going to be here next year. Kind of uncool. I absolutely will, Raiderette Bell. SA, what's up, brother? Appreciate you tapping in. Johnny, I appreciate the love on the gear. Corinna, true. Hello. And Steven and Mrs. Shaw. Oh, that was my bell drop. Oh, Cher, what's up, girl? How you doing? I don't remember seeing you in my audience. What's up? Hey, do I look all right? Do I look okay? Okay, this is an important Raiderette. Sup, girl? Okay, you're all shook up. The Raiders would have been in the playoffs if they had ran the ball 30 times a game. I just don't know if our offensive line would have allowed that. And I don't know if we would have got to 30 carries if we were doing that because we couldn't get first downs. So even if he gets, let's say, 2 first downs, that drive would have what, maybe 7 snaps, 9 snaps, and then we'd be off the field again. So by the time we got to 30 snaps, we'd be late in the fourth quarter, probably losing by 2 scores. Can't do that. I know what you mean, commit to the running game. I agree, but I don't know if we have the offensive line for that. You know what I mean? And in point of fact, Pete Carroll was overdoing it when it came to running the ball. Chip Kelly wanted to open it up a little bit, and it was Pete, we know, that just kept saying, bang him, bang him, bang him. He'll open it up, bang him. But the line couldn't give him what he wanted. Okay, Johnny said Mendoza of Indiana, Duante Jones of Oregon, or the kid from Bama. Who am I taking? I never take Bama quarterbacks. Never. Because in my opinion, Bama is such an established is such an established school that they get so many great players from all over the country that they, in effect, with their athleticism, make that quarterback look better. So now when that quarterback throws a 30-yard out and the guy catches it, makes 2 guys miss, does a spin move, tiptoes along the sideline, and then scores a touchdown, the guy who gets the 48-yard applause is the quarterback for throwing it. But is he really that good when he's got a wide receiver that's the best in the country? Then his offensive line, he's got 4 guys that are like the best in the country. So it's hard for me to judge from Alabama. Oregon, it used to be because they would run that speed offense. And so you couldn't tell about a quarterback from there because they were running the 1-2-3 throw, 1-2-3 throw, 1-2-3 running play, 1-2-3 throw, 1-2-3 throw. You know what I mean? And what defense can stop that? You know what I mean? If you really get that on rhythm, you can't stop that. By the time you come out of your break, the ball's already thrown as a defensive lineman. So I don't trust teams that come from Oregon's system. Although it has now changed, and because I don't know who the guy was that came in after Chip Kelly left, but he seemed to want to run something very similar to what Chip Kelly ran. That was probably the influence of the school, saying to him when they hired him, we want something like what our last guy was doing, that's innovative and fast and confuses guys, you know what I mean? And so initially they had that, but that's not what they're doing as much, now. John Rogers Jr., what's up? Welcome to the show. Oh, you know what? And I didn't really answer your question. I'll be honest with you, without sounding like I'm just blowing over it, I like Mendoza. I feel like Mendoza has the pedigree. I feel like some of the other guys do too, like Duante Jones. But it's being able to look at a guy, look at their tape, and not pay attention to whether he scores touchdowns. Not pay attention to, whether he was fast and was able to run down the sidelines to get a first down for his team. No. With a quarterback, you have to watch his footwork. Where is it? Where are his arms as he's moving? Does he have only one hand on the ball or does he have 2? And if he has 2 hands on the ball, is he keeping the ball belt high or is he keeping it up to his shoulder? When he goes to throw, does he drop his elbow and then move his hand back or does he just move his hand back? So now he doesn't have that poker tell where now when defensive backs see his elbow drop, they're going to break on the ball. And by the time he gets to here and he's throwing, the defensive back or the safety's breaking on the ball. So you have to see that in your analysis as a quarterback, as a scout and analyzing a quarterback. And from that, I would say to you, Mendoza, to me and my eyes, looks like he has the highest possibility, in my opinion, and then Duante Jones. And there was one other guy. I think it was the guy from Penn State. Excuse me for the names. I'll get better when we get to the end of the season because I try to stay focused on all the pro stuff. You know what I mean? I don't like to get too into the college stuff because I'll be honest, a lot of you love college football. My friend Jesse Parker, I see you, brother. What's up? Jesse, I just got to tell you this. I'll get off point. I don't want to do that. But I feel like there are other guys in this draft that could come out and be good, just as good at quarterbacks as Mendoza. I like the guy at Penn State. I don't remember his name. I'm not too in there now because, in truth, like my friend Jesse Park and I was about to say, he is a Notre Dame fan. Die hard. Wears all the green and puts on the shamrock hat and sounds like a wee leprechaun in that time of season. He does do that. No, he doesn't. I'm just kidding. But anyway, long story short, I'm not into college football like that. I'm a Cal Bear fan. I love the Berkeley Bears, but they're my Raiders in college, you know what I mean? Because they don't win anything, you know. But I love me some Berkeley Bears. I go way back with the Berkeley Bears. Do you want Carroll gone and why? Don't we let a rookie quarterback play? Well, Bill, Carroll is nowhere near a rookie. That's first. Second, and more importantly, it's not Carroll's fault. He allowed himself into a contract that didn't allow him to have control of what he was doing and putting on the field. And so once that happened, it was doomed to failure. So now I want him out because I don't think he can succeed with us. It's not because of him as a coach. I like him. I think he's a good coach. I think he's forgotten a lot more than a lot of coaches will ever learn because he's been in the game that long. And if we had more time and we had given him a real contract, I would absolutely say that. For example, if he had a 4-year deal, it would be stupid to let Pete go right now because you just got rid of Chip Kelly. So if that was the problem with the offense being convoluted, he got rid of that. Okay, now maybe at the end of the season, he hears all of us talking about his son saying, hey, you know, he needs to get him another job, maybe send him somewhere else. So maybe he does that. Okay, maybe he elevates someone else up there and then we get this ball rolling. And how hard would that be? Do you know how many coaches that have worked for Pete Carroll? He could grab his phone and call 15 guys in 5 minutes that could come to our team and be an offensive line coach. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. And so it's because he has no leverage. He doesn't even really have a year on his contract. Is he supposed to come back next year? Of course. But then he's a dead man walking. They're not going to give him a new deal. So he's not going to have any power when it comes to the draft. They're going to be thinking about who they want to draft for whoever's coming next. And they'll be negotiating with whoever's coming next behind his back. It would just be another mess. Next year would be the same as this one. No doubt. If he comes back, it's just going to be the same thing. I would argue with you that Tom and Mark Davis would sabotage any success that Pete began to see because they would want the leverage from the fans to be able to fire him or just let him walk out on his contract instead of re-upping him. If Pete goes out there next year and somehow wins 12 games, then what? I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not even saying that's in the realm of possibility. But I'm saying it's possible. It is. I'm telling you, we've seen far too many teams that were in dead last come back and win their division. So all I'm saying is that next year's squad, they better stink or it's gonna hurt, because I don't care if he wins 12 games, they're gonna let him go. Guaranteed. It's over. It's over. That's how arrogant Tom is. Tom is just arrogant enough. He could win 13 games. I'll keep upping the ante. Get rid of Malcolm Kuntz. I need to say that at least once a show. Hopefully someone with the organization will hear me. Brady made them draft picks, and Brady doesn't know crap about building a team. Just like I'm a damn good bouncer, but I don't know crap about running the bar. Well done, Joe. I agree. Elizabeth Castrita. That's beautiful. Castrita. Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you tuning in. Not with this line. Well, LA Raider, unfortunately, we are in complete agreement. Now, they have been doing a little bit of tweaking with the line. I like the fact that they finally gave Carlos Rogers some snaps, and he was nice. You know, they did want to bring him in, with kiddie wheels. He didn't exactly start, and he didn't finish the game either. He just got periodic snaps in there. But he was good when he was in there. He made a couple of mistakes, but that's to be expected from a rookie. But when he was good, he looked real good. Technique, no holding, no flags. and was keeping guys from even not just keeping them from getting sacks, but, holding off pressures. So, really sticking them at the line. So Carlos Rogers may have a future with us. And then let me see, who's this other guy? I was reading about him earlier. Hang on, let me find this guy real quick. Darn it. What was it? This one? Let's see. What's that guy's name? Well, there's talk about Greedy Vance too. They're real excited. They brought him up. They think that his talent could really show through, so they want to see what he can do. Antonio Maffi. Antonio Maffi. I'm so bad with Tongan names. Maffi, the former New England Patriot, England Colt guard, was elevated with Vance to the active roster. Carroll mentioned earlier in the week that Maffi will continue competing for reps at right guard in the case the next man up again is necessary. Dylan Parham's been struggling a lot, so we could see that happen almost for sure. And then don't forget, Greedy Vance is the blazing fast defensive back that used to play for USC. And now he would be working with one of the best defensive back coaches of all time in Pete Carroll. But, how much time is Pete Carroll going to have with him? He'll probably be on the roster next year, but whether he wins a spot or not may have everything to do with what he gleans from Pete right now. There was talk of DJ Glaze too. He was basically talking about the offensive adjustments they have to make and Ginty has to make, and I don't know if that's there. I think that's more like cautious. Hey, don't worry, fans, we're coming kind of talk. Whoops. There's my bell. What? Hey. All right, I broke my bell. Oh, no, I didn't. Steven Shaw and Mrs. Shaw. Thank you, guys. Love you. Yes, the quarterback from Indiana, Mendoza. Yes. I like him, Mark. 6'5", 235. Yep. Coachable. I don't know if he has the biggest arm, but it's big enough. You know what I mean? I just want him to get out there. I think that guys need to get over this idea of the long bomb. You know what I mean? If you get a guy that can throw the long bomb without effort, does that make sense? In other words, I don't want a guy that has to wind up and then throw it, because that's asking too much of your offensive line. It gets quarterbacks injured because while they're stepping up, if there's anyone from the right to the left that they don't see, they get hit in the knees and ankles. And no, you know what I mean? If you get and I hate to do this because I could pick anybody, but because I know Peggy's watching, I'll go ahead and say it. You need a Ben Roethlisberger kind of body. If you have a guy that size that can throw the deep ball, then okay. But outside of that, how did Chip expect to open up the offense with the passing game when Smith kept throwing to the wrong team? I don't necessarily put all the blame on him. The line needed to give him a little bit more time. Well, all of it was screwed up. All of it was screwed up because you had an offensive coordinator not running his offense. Why would you bring in an offensive coordinator if you're not going to run his offense? It makes no sense. So he basically was just sitting up there weekend after weekend collecting checks to call Pete Carroll's offense. That's not even up for debate. That's a fact. I can tell you right now. You can go ahead and be mad about that. That's a fact. It was Pete Carroll's offense we were running, and he was making Chip Kelly run it. And you know how disgruntled employees are. You know how they are. He doesn't care about the Raiders at that point. He's got no love for the Raiders if they're going to allow Pete Carroll to bully him like that. All right, you want me to run split run right? I'll do it. Even though I can see clearly their defense is going to smash that play. You got it, Pete, Coach Pete. I'll run that. And then Chip Kelly gets on the headset, tells him to run the play. Doesn't work. And why's Chip got to have love for us? Why's Chip got to feel like, hey, I got to get this team better. We got to win somehow. Why? They treated him like garbage. Let's be honest. Let's just keep 10 toes down and give facts. You see, I'm a Raider and I'm a Raider for life. But we did Chip dirty. Now, is that on Mark Davis? Not necessarily. I mean, he may not have known anything about it. It may have just been Pete saying to him, run this. And if you say anything to anyone, I'll fire you. Contract or no contract. And so maybe Pete just, did that, muscled him, and Chip said, okay. Because he saw it as a payday. I'll keep collecting these checks. You tell me to run your offense, that's what I'll do. And then when everyone gets mad and I finally get interviewed, I'll say, I was running Pete's offense. Chip Kelly walks away scot clear, clean. No, we're not even talking about Chip Kelly anymore. Because at this point, from this day forward, everyone knows none of that had to do with Chip Kelly or his offense because we wasn't even running it. It's not good. Vernon, sup? I think we should go eat Mike LaFleur. Oh, go get Mike LaFleur. I think that was what we were trying to say. He knows McVay's system and a quarterback background. That's not bad. That's not bad, Vernon Moshman. I can see that working. That's not bad. Corey, what's up? My little brother, Raging Rhino, in the house. Linda cleaned up my desk for me. I don't have my Raging Raider Rhino medallion here. I just have my Raider Bear right now. Corinna, true. Hello. Do you think Jerry's son gets to play this year, or will he stay on the practice squad? I don't know. I can't really speak to that. I honestly, I would say no, though. I would lead toward no because we probably would have heard, they would be inkling up to that in the press. And I haven't heard a word about that. Mark Alvarez, family in the house. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. One of the few men in this world I'm actually jealous of. I am. That guy's got the life. Ramiro, I haven't gone that specific yet, studying offensive linemen coming out of the draft. I really haven't. But I would say this to you. I want them to go to the major schools that are obviously going to get the best offensive linemen and then scout beyond their number one guy. Because what happens is a lot of the time there's a school and they'll get 3 guys and 2 of them are redshirt freshmen, unstoppable machines. And so they're all the press see and the scouts see. And there'll be a 3rd guy that's from Iowa that's 6'6", weighs 320 pounds naturally, and is only going to get bigger and stronger. Well, I want that moose over there. The white Sasquatch. Give me that guy. I assume he'd be white because it's Iowa. Anna, you're always welcome. You don't have to comment, sweetheart. You just rest and get better. I think I heard you say that Brady knows what he doesn't know, and I hate to disagree with you, but I have to one on that one. Pretty things. She knows how to build a damn team, and he damn sure don't know how. And while I'm at it, I ain't saying I'm 100% believe this, but you might have a damn hard time talking me out of believing that Brady is sabotaging the Raiders on purpose. And once he's done us real dirty, he'll sell his shares and ride off into the damn sunset laughing his ass off. I've been asked this before. And I want to be clear first and foremost, Joe. I don't look beyond that. In other words, if someone thinks, oh, no, no one's that petty. Yeah, they are. You guys don't understand rich people. And I only understand rich people because I've known a few of them. And I'll tell you honestly, they are that way. They are that way. I once saw a guy spend over $100,000 just to prove a point over something with someone in court. And he bankrupted the other guy. And it meant nothing. He didn't even care about the money. And when he didn't get a settlement from the other guy, he didn't care because he was already rich. He just wanted the guy to lose. It was ridiculous. I just like, you're just going to spend the money just to win. And every time he goes to court, you're going to challenge and appeal until he just goes broke. And he looked right at me. No hesitation, went, yep. Jesus. I can't say his name, but I have a friend that I went to high school with, and he did some stuff with computers and computer chips, and he sold some ideas that he had, and apparently that made him rich. And I've known him since high school, so when I talk to him, he'll say anything to me, you know. So, why don't we play Dylan Laube or the other rookies? Bill, I think that Pete Carroll is doing what my other viewer was saying before. I believe that 100%. He's not going to play guys that he didn't really want in the first place. And then more importantly, how do we know Pete Carroll isn't playing necessarily to lose? Can't you guys remember? It was like week 2, week 3. I can't remember exactly when. It might have even been week 1. I apologize. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But we were on our own side of the field. I think it was the week we played the Redskins or something like that. I apologize. I can't remember. But we were on our own side of the field, deep into our own side of the field, like on the 30, 35-yard line. And it was like 4th and 4, and Pete Carroll went for it. And I don't mean like a fake punt, go for it, or something tricky. No, he just lined up his guys, threw a few huts out there, and they went for it. And they ran the ball, if I remember correctly. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. A guy that's been in the league this long, that early in the game, would gamble like that on a team that he's just getting to know. Now, I have thought, is that like the mad genius of Pete Carroll, where he says to himself, no, I'm going to do this because if it works, all of the guys on the team will buy into what I'm doing even more. There is an argument for that. There are a lot of new coaches that right when they get to a team, they do something crazy because they want the team to go, wow, our coach is nuts. You know what I mean? Like blitz on first down and blitz on second down and then not blitz on third down and, go for it on a fake punt twice, stuff like that. And just crazy stuff that the team's like, okay, our coach is wild. You know what I mean? Now when the next season comes, he can tone it down, be a little bit more professional and strategic, but his teammates will follow him through the fire at that point. Could he have been doing that? It's possible because remember, he didn't really have time. He's only got a 2-year deal. And a 2-year deal technically is a 1-year deal. Because if in the first year of the 2-year deal, you blow tires and suck like what we're doing right now, you just don't bring him back for year 2. That's what this was, a pension plan for Pete Carroll to prove himself so he could get the AARP deal and go on and go on for 3 more years. It's frustrating that each year the environment changes and nothing has changed. Well, Anna, again, it's not that unique, though. Look at the Chargers. Okay? They've been doing this for 60 years. They don't even have 1 ring. Not 1. Look at the Bengals. You know what I mean? And how long they've just sucked. But no one says anything about it. And you know why? Because they're irrelevant. But they talk about the Raiders, even though we haven't had a winning season in forever. They still talk about us because they love to hate us. Good. They're all still mad. They're all still mad. Their grandfathers have trained them, and their fathers after them have trained their kids to hate the Raiders because we were the baddest bullies on the block for a decade plus. Oh, look it up. Throughout the 90s, we were the winningest franchise in all of sports. Look it up. Who's your favorite new player? I'm kind of enjoying Jeremy Chin. I'm really enjoying Jeremy Chin. He's turning out to be a hell of a safety. We brought him over from Washington, and he was nasty there. And the Commanders did not want to lose him, but he's turned out to be pretty nice. You know what I mean? He doesn't make every play, but he's pretty nice. I got to get different headphones. These are driving me crazy. But he's been pretty nice. Sup, R8RBEAR, all the way from New Zealand. I need Pete and Gino gone. What do you think? Well, Solomona, I can tell you this much. They're both gone. They're both gone. No doubt about it. This was a rental plan with a possible extension. The rental plan did not work. So it's over. So do you want Pete Carroll or not? Or who do you want? I would love to see Brian Flores get a chance. I would love to see Brian Flores get a chance. He never got a chance. It's not just because he's black. He's been a great coach for a very long time. And the one time he was given the opportunity to be a head coach, he had guys running through walls for him, playing way above their ability and winning games. And they weren't able to fire him immediately when they really wanted to. And they couldn't because he was a hot coach. You know, they did him dirty when the season was over, but at the time they had to let him finish, and he finished on a hell of a run. If you answered this and I missed it, how did Chip Kelly expect to open up the offense with the passing game when Geno kept throwing the ball to the wrong team? I don't necessarily put all the blame on him. The line needed to give him a little bit more time. You did ask me that question, and I didn't really answer it thoroughly, so I will answer it thoroughly. I believe that the interceptions on Geno were 90% of it was him trying to make something happen. He's just that kind of quarterback. If you want to make the comparison, try to compare Derek Carr and Geno Smith. They are absolute polar opposites, where Derek Carr will see it and go, nah, I'm not going to mess with my percentage and make that throw. Geno's throwing that ball. That's the difference. And most of the time, Derek Carr was right. If he had thrown the ball, it probably would have been picked, or it might have been knocked into traffic, into the air, and then someone on the defense, behind the play would have caught an interception. And don't think that that's a coincidence. It's not. Guys who play football will tell you their athleticism. They know if they just reach just one arm out, and then right when the ball gets there, just sort of pull their arm down, it makes the arm ramp the ball, and it goes straight up in the air. Some of them will turn their hand up, and as soon as the ball gets there, they'll slap. So even if the guy's catching the ball, the force will make him throw the ball in the air. Trust me, none of that's accidents. And a lot of these late fumbles you see when guys are piling on, trying to tackle them, someone punches the ball in the pile, ball pops out. That's not an accident. Those are maneuvers by defensive players over the decades, learning from players from the past. What is my Raiders Christmas wish? Ramiro, I would say this. The Christmas wish for me for the Raiders would be to have a winning season next season. But if I had to pick one thing, I would say let the Raiders get the best defensive end in the country, and I want an animal, and let him play alongside Max Crosby. And if you can't get that guy, let someone else have your pick for their best guy at that position. I want ballers, not kids. Kids rarely pan out. Even if Ashton Jeanty does pan out to be a pretty good pro, is he as good as Josh Jacobs? Because let's remember, Josh Jacobs' line was busted up too. Josh Jacobs' line wasn't much better than this one. But he made himself look like an all-pro season after season. Ashton Jeanty's not doing that. Now, that's not to mark down on Ashton Jeanty. He needs help. It's not an individual sport. He's not ice skating. He needs his teammates to do their damn job. And I, by the way, have seen Ashton Jeanty get stuffed on plays where Brock Bowers was the specific blocker who missed his block, and then Jeanty got blasted. I could show it to you on tape. I have all the games this year on DVR, every single game. So if I had to go back and find the play, I'm positive I could. And so I know Ashton Jeanty is better than we know. He is, but he's got to be on a team. He's not Josh Jacobs. He can't take the ball and carry the team. He can't. Can he make Josh Jacobs-like plays? Yes. But you got to set him up. Make a couple pass plays. Get them thinking about the pass. Then, boom, hit Jeanty, 15-yard carry. Maybe go to the house. He's got that kind of speed. He's got that kind of moves. But you got to get him past the first level. You can't have defensive ends getting shots at him. He's got to go right through a hole and then be able to challenge the linebackers and safeties. If you let him do that, he'll get 15 yards damn near every play. He's that good. I just think we got to see that first. I got to be careful. I know he watches my show. I'm serious. Ashton Jeanty, I love you, okay? I'm not putting the blame on you. I think you're a great player. I really do. We have to get our line together, and we have to get our play calling together. Then you'll break out. I'm sure of that. So Pete Carroll is gone. What coach will be our next Raiders coach? I don't know that yet, Anthony Contreras, but I bet you this, I'll know before the season's over. So Anthony, and I could say keep coming back to my show, but I know you do, so it's all good. But just keep coming back to my show. How many of you haven't subscribed to R8RBEAR Live? And if it's my fees, I apologize. My Facebook fee for subscription is about to go down, so don't even hit it tonight. If you're interested, give me a couple days. I'm bringing my price down. Also, if you would prefer to ignore Facebook entirely, remember that I am also on Patreon. Look for me as R8RBEAR or R8RBEAR Family Page, and I'll come up on Patreon, very cheap. And YouTubers, look, you have no excuse, okay? Trying to get into the algorithm on YouTube over here, okay? I can't ask Mr. Beast to help me. He doesn't know me yet. And if you don't go to my link tree and visit R8RBEAR Family Store, you're just slipping. That was Little Cub off stage, cueing me. What do you think of Patrick Graham as head coach and Rob Leonard as our defensive coordinator? Well, Leonard, great question. Welcome to the show. You caught me right at the end. That's a great question. I love your scenario there. The problem is Patrick Graham will never get as much for us as a head coach as he will somewhere else. He won't. And I know he wanted the Giants job back. I don't know if the Giants have already filled their position, but I don't think they have. But if they haven't filled the head coaching job at the Giants, look for Patrick to try to go there. Bad thing for next year is we will have another new coach and a lot of holes to fill. Well, Vernon, that depends. If Spytek is allowed to stay and the guy is willing to work with Spytek, we could have another good draft because this last draft wasn't really that bad. We just have to get more talent tied up onto it. I think Jack Besh is going to be for real. I really do. Mark Vargas, Josh Jacobs is a better running back. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. Ashton, you have yet to prove yourself, so we can say that right now. But let's see what you got, kid. You've got time to try to catch him. Now, Vernon, as far as whoever the new coach is, if they can work with Spytek or be allowed to bring in their own GM, then we might see things happen. But I don't know. Because you could always move Spytek to player personnel, president of player personnel. And then that way he still has a high-fighting job. He could still be a part of the organization, helping in the war room and things like that. And yet it not look necessarily like a demotion because the new coach coming in usually likes to get their general manager. If anything, it would make Spytek look like he's such a brain trust that they didn't want to let him go, convinced him to take this other position and allow another person to come on as the GM. You said you want the best defensive end in the country, and all I can say is amen. I wanted that last year, but we couldn't trade up high enough. Yeah. There's my girl. Appreciate you, love. Corinna Trujillo, proud subscriber, R8RBEAR Live. I will, R8RBEAR. I'll keep coming back to your show. I love it. You keep it real. God bless. God bless you, brother, always. Bear, I don't mean this as an insult, but I used to see 65 to 90 people live, but I only see 20. What happened? But I love watching you. Bill, what happened is I've been coming on a lot less. And then on the days when I do come on, my show post warning sometimes comes on really late in the day because I don't get it up. So like, for example, don't get it up. That didn't sound right. I always get it up. But like tonight, I didn't get my show on to where it showed all of you that I was going to be on tonight until 6 o'clock. So it only had 2 hours to tell everyone that can watch my show to watch my show. So I could theoretically, I could get my numbers back up like that, but I got to be on more often. So that's been the problem. And Bill, without going into a great explanation, I just haven't been able to be on as often. Has nothing to do with my health. It's just business, money, family issues, and stuff like that. So anyway, love you guys, and I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next show. R8RBEAR Family Page. Peace. Just kidding. I never go out quite that peaceful. Never, ever go out quite that peaceful. It's not my way. It's not my way. That's not how I do things. Is it, my boy? He's been in here almost the whole show. Hasn't barked one time. Crazy, huh? All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. R8RBEAR! You know what, Bill? Now I'm going to bring my numbers up just because you challenged me. That's how I take things. That's what keeps me motivated, you know what I mean? I got to find stuff like that, Bill. So I appreciate you, Bill. Bill, 100%. I'm being serious. I appreciate that. It's all good. I don't want you to think it. For even a moment I'm mad at you. I'm not. All right, that's my show. Check me out tomorrow night. Because of Bill, I am going to be on tomorrow for sure. Oh, you better believe it. And if Bill's not on, I'm going to roast him the whole show.